chapter 5, verse 11 to 12. No, from verse 10, actually, from verse 10 to 12. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when men revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is greater than in heaven, for so men persecuted the prophets who were before you. Father, I want to thank you for this time, and we would like to thank you for this series. Ever since we started them, you've blessed some of us. We pray that you continue speaking to us in this final one. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen. Blessed are the persecuted. Matthew 5, 10 to 12. This series this is our last attitude. I told you we're going to look at 8 attitudes. This is the 8th attitude, and it says, blessed are the persecuted. And this series have been essential about 2 things. One, blessing, a blessing. That's why each and every attitude began with blessed, blessed, blessed are the poor, blessed are the pure in heart, blessed are the peacemakers, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. You see, blessed, 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 blessed. That's how each and every attitude began. So they have been about, number 1, blessing. Number 2, they have also been about who is blessed. So in case you missed everything about this series, at least remember this, that the series have been about a blessing. Number 2, who is blessed, or the candidate for that blessing. The kind of blessing that we have been talking about is makarios. Makarios is Greek, and makarios is a kind of blessing that is not the same as the Hebrew barak. Mungu akubariki, as the Swahilis say. Barak, baraka, baraka yangu. Barak, 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 barak. Barak is a Hebrew. It's a Hebrew word. It's not a Swahili word. It's a Hebrew word. Swahili gets it from Arabic. Arabic shares a few words with the Hebrew language. So barak is also translated in English as blessing. However, we said last time that barak blessing is natural blessing, material blessing, and this blessing is for believers and non-believers. Okay? Good. So that is barak. Barak. We are blessed with time, blessed with land, and blessed with another thing. Commonly, we are all blessed. That's barak. And this is the kind of blessing that many people are running after. Barak. Even when people raise their hands, Lord, bless me today, bless the works of my hand. That is barak. You're praying for barak. So we haven't been talking about barak in this series. No, that's not what we've been talking about. We've been talking about makarios. Okay? Makarios is a spiritual blessing, divine blessing, and it is exclusive for believers. It's for only believers. Yeah, this kind of blessing, these 8 blessings that we've talked about here are for only believers. If you don't believe, you are not an audience and a recipient of this makarios. So that's the kind of blessing that we have been talking about. Open Matthew chapter 19 to 16, and then Mark 10, 28, 30.
Matthew 19?
Matthew 19, 16 to 22.
I read.
Yes.
And behold, a man came to him, saying,
Yes.
Teacher, what good deed must I do to have eternal life?
Yes.
And he said to him, Why do you ask me about what is good? There is only one who is good.
Yes.
If you would enter life, keep the commandments. To 19. He said to him, Which ones? And Jesus said, You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness. Honor your father and mother, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. The young man said to him, all these I have kept. What do I still lack? Jesus told him, if you would be perfect, go, sell what you possess and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven, and come follow me. And when the young man heard this, he went away sorrowful, for he had great possessions.
For he has great possession. Now this guy was blessed with Barak, but he still lacked something, and what he lacked was the blessing of God, which is Makarios. So God told him, you go and sell all the Barak, and you come and I'll bless with Makarios. And he was sad. So I wanted to mention that for you who want to know the difference. That he had everything materialistic, but he lacked something. Okay? What does Mark 10:28 and 30 say?
Peter began to say to him, Lord, we have left everything and followed you. Jesus said, truly I say to you, there is no one who has left house or brothers and or sisters or mother or father or children or lands for my sake and for the gospel, who will not receive 100-fold now in this time, houses and brothers and sisters and mothers and children and lands with persecutions, and in the age to come eternal life.
So what is Jesus saying? Jesus is saying that if you leave all the Barak to follow me, then everything will be replaced, because you will be that blessed, isn't it? But how do you replace your mother and father and your brother?
His mother and father in Barak.
Yes, mother and father is in Barak. You're blessed to have your parents.
Barak.
Yeah, you're baraked. You're baraked to have your parents, both of your parents. You're baraked to have your siblings or even, relatives. Blessed. And Jesus is telling his disciples that if you leave all that, sacrifice that for me, you are blessed, in a sense that all that will be replaced. But how is that replaced? How is that replaced? Because Jesus does not believe in these relationships of yours, the biological relationships. Jesus is telling that if you lose your biological brother, you will get a spiritual brother, and that is all right. That is all right.
And 100-fold.
And in 100-fold. What else have you lost? Land, you will get land. You get land. Bakugobe wamwe kubanga wakiriza Yesu. Kale jangu eno kama ajja kuwa mukisa okole ettaka lye. Tojja kusikira lyewamu. You see how Makarios and Barak play in the New Testament, but it is not easy to see it. And this is what these attitudes are very hard to understand. I am emphasizing this because many of you, when you kneel down, you don't ask for this blessing.
Makarios.
And no one needs it. We don't need this blessing because it doesn't appeal to us.
The Makarios.
The Makarios. Because if you told people, you be Makarios, Makarios bamulya manyira, bamulya. But this is the qualitative blessing that each and every Christian should be looking for. Why am I saying this? Because if you get Barak, okay, and you get too much Barak, without this Makarios, you won't be happy. You won't be happy, I'm telling you. You can get all the resources that you want in this world, but if you are not blessed in this form of blessing of the 8 attitudes, you won't enjoy your wealth. You will not. Mwemule kubagagga bali mu bujiji Nga mugagga buli kimu akina naye nga alumu obugigi. Ng'omulaba munaku.
Nali ndabye ku mugagga eyeetuga.
Okitegedde? Waliwo ku mugagga eyeetuga. Rich men commit suicide. People who are baraked with all these blessings, they kill themselves. They cry. They are not happy. They are hiding their sadness in being busy.
Yeah.
That's what they are doing. It's because they don't have this blessing. So this blessing must be in the foundation of your barak. Many of you asking God to bless you with a car, isn't it? Eh? I can tell you that car might take away your happiness. If you don't have these macarios. This is why I call this series the 8 attitudes. Is your attitude founded in the blessing of God? Do you look at things the way God looks at things? Because he said, blessed are the poor. You remember when we talked about that? Blessed are the poor. How do I get all the barak that I want in this world and stay happy? Because that's the big question. If you don't have the barak, you are not happy. Tell your mwavu ye yagari. Jali. Tali yo. Wavu bubi. Si bubi badi. Bubi sini. Bulijjo mbabuulira wano. Obwavu tobulwanyisa tobulwana bulwanye. Bakigambo ky'Oluganda kyakulwana. Tolwana bulwana bwavu nedda n'okubwenenya bwenenye. Omwavu ateeka okufukamira ekiro ne yeenenya.
Obwavu.
Oteekwa buteesi kugamba oteekwa kuba attitude eyo ku bwavu bwetyo. Ng'ofukamira ogamba nti Mukama nsaba kunsonyiwa ne wabawo saddaaka n'okugiwaayo n'ogiwaayo. Weenenye obwavu. Kati nze abagamba nze kyeyamani w'abaavu. Bamujaga musajja aduula buduza nze kyeyamani w'abaavu. Kati ffe tuteekwa obuteesi okwenenya obwavu. Kuba si bubi nti no bad. Kyekigambo ky'Oluzungu. Bubi sini. So kusonora ky'omwavu osobya Katonda.
So obwavu si bubi naye kibi.
Ekibi. Naye obugagga busobola okufuukira ekibi. Bw'oba totegedde this kind of blessing, if you do not understand this blessing, then even wealth will become the same thing as poverty. You will be in the same sorrow and pain like you've been when you are not barak. So this is why Makarios is important. So Jesus is telling you, if in persecution you suffer all this for my sake, isn't it? Don't worry. The barak can happen. Barak can happen. Barak is for the non-believers and believers. Makarios is exclusive for believers. Now, do you understand that point? Okay? Now, the verses say that blessed are the persecuted for the sake of righteousness and for the sake of God. That's what the persecuted. Now, why you are persecuted determines, okay, and defines persecution. Did you hear that? Leero wethambi muyinza n'okuneebakako olwaleero. The reasons as to why you are persecuted, okay, will determine and define, okay, persecution. The reasons. Because abantu bangi balowooza nti no bayigganyizibwa. Many people think they are persecuted. No, you are not persecuted. Not everyone is persecuted. Persecution is not for everyone. Are we together? Because blessed, okay, verse 10. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake. Blessed are you men. Are you when men revile you and persecute you and utter all evil, kinds of evil against you falsely on my account? On my account. If you steal something and they run after you, you are being persecuted. Are you?
No.
No.
Huh?
You are being
According to what
pursued.
we are studying.
You are being pursued.
You are just being pursued. Are we together? Aha. Kakati kakati lekera ogamba mbu abantu bakuyigganya, abantu banjogerera, abantu bakwogerera. Abantu boogera byokola. Kati toli persecuted. Now do you get the attitude? Eh? So because in the end times they will be persecuting everyone who worships on Sabbath. There is no blessing in that. There is no blessing in that. For you staying at the university 4 years, not writing your exams because of Saturday, you are not persecuted. Because there is no righteousness there and there is no account of God. Simple. Blessed are you. There is no blessing there if you're being persecuted or pursued for your stupidity. Because Muslims, as we speak today, are the most persecuted people for Islam. Isn't it? Are they persecuted? No, they are not persecuted in this context. Is there a blessing for them? No, there is no blessing for them in this. Katonyiruga bwobanga oli mu struggle zo. Ngoli mu struggle zo. Tulifena. Togamba tino you are persecuted.
Ngoli mu struggle, yes.
Ngoli mu struggle. You are in a struggle, you are not persecuted. So I wanted us to be clear on this issue. So if you go to witch doctors, okay, and demons haunt you, you are not being persecuted. No, you wait and collect these spirits that are tormenting you. Yes. You are not being persecuted. No, these are consequences of your choices. Blessed are you if you are persecuted for righteousness' sake and my account. So before you say, they are persecuting us because we are preaching the gospel, are you preaching the gospel? Are you really preaching the gospel? Or you are preaching the doctrines of your religion? Is what you're preaching the gospel so that you are persecuted for its sake? If it is not the gospel, you are not persecuted. You are being pursued by those that you have offended. So there is no blessing for that. Are we together there? Okay? You are not. Then another point that I would like to make from that point. You are not blessed because of the persecution. The persecution is because you are blessed. Because many people think that if I am persecuted, I will access the blessing. Therefore, let me rebel.
And you came from a blessing.
I rebel, I am persecuted, I get the blessing. You get the point? No. You are not blessed because you are persecuted. No. Persecution. Okay? Persecution is happening because you are blessed. If you are not persecuted, then that means you are not blessed. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, if you agree with your cultural beliefs in your Christian belief, isn't it? Then you are not yet a Christian. Because darkness and light cannot mix. So if you are comfortable in what is wrong, it is because you agree with it. Why? Christianity is revolutionary. Wherever you go, you will cause havoc. Why? Because you will disagree with the principles there. Eh? But if you are comfortable with religion and religion is comfortable with you, then you are not different. I am not talking about tolerance. Because Christianity is not tolerant, by the way. Christianity is not tolerant. That's because many people confuse compromise with tolerance. Because question, why didn't Jesus leave people run their business in the church? What was so big? So if you sell things in the temple, what happens with the temple? Do the bricks shake and later it crumbles or what?
Atenga abagula, abagula neri, same thing.
Yes. So what is wrong with running business there? Why is he beating up people and throwing people's business out? Is Jesus tolerant? No, he's not. He's not. Do you know why he's not tolerant? Because Christianity does not tolerate what is evil and what is wrong.
Wrong is wrong.
Therefore, you are blessed if you are persecuted for not being tolerant to what is evil and wrong. And because of that, you are persecuted by those who believe in what is wrong. Okay? Finally, on this point, problems are not persecution. No, they are not. They are problems. Jesus said in John chapter 16 verse 33, in the world you have problems, you have tribulations, but take heart, for I am with you, isn't it? So that is not persecution. Ebizibu tebibayigganya.
Ebizibu bizibu.
Nedda ebizibu yemmwe. Problems are not persecuting us. Why? Because we are the problems. I have told you here before that if you wanted to take out each and every problem out of this planet, here is the solution. You take out every one of us. Simple. And problems are done. There is no single problem that you have, okay, that has nothing to do with being human or being with human beings. There's no, you tell me one problem that you have that has nothing to do with being human and being with human beings. So your problems are people. And your problems are being you, the who you are. So problems are not persecutions. No, they are not. Why? They are not pursuing us. We are pursuing them. 80% of the problems that we have pursued, haven't we? Hey. School fees wabana batano. Abazalibwa mulirwana. Oba babo. Hey. It is that simple. It is that simple. So look at your problems, and they are not what? Hey. They are not problems. Hey. Okay? So so verse 11, Matthew, has an interesting spin.
5:11. 5:11 says, blessed are you when men revile you and persecute you
2
and utter all kinds of evil against you.
3.
Falsely.
Persecution comes in
On
3
my
forms.
account.
Yes, persecution comes in 3 forms. You are insulted, okay, and sometimes even arrested legally. For instance, in some countries, it is not allowed to preach to other people. As we speak today, you can't tell people that believe in Jesus Christ. You can't. Onkaka, number 1, number 2, olumbe dembe lyange lyokwesalirawo. So there's persecution for that. The other persecution is when you are insulted. Bakuvuma. If you want to know that, let me give you an example. You can tell the SDS that the Sabbath does not save. The Sabbath-day is useless as far as salvation is concerned. And you see what they will do to you on social media. Do the same to the Muslims. Do the same to the Catholic Church and tell them they are worshipping idols. And you see. There's a guy here, he died. He was a singer. One of my best artists. If not actually the best in Uganda. In the Uganda version. Harmony Basudde. In one of his songs he said that how different is it to find someone worshipping a stone and you tell that worshipper that he's worshipping the devil, and you replace that stone with a sculpture of Mother Mary. What have you done? When he sang that, the Catholic Church summoned him and he had to repent. But how wrong was Vasudi? Was he wrong? No, because that's what the missionaries did. They found Africans worshipping stones, isn't it? And then they told you, no, that's devil worship. You worship this image of Mother Mary. Same thing. The other one was a stone. This one is a stone in a form of a person. Stone is stone. Okay, the other stone didn't have paint. This one has paint. The other one was outside on a certain hill. This one is in the house. Stone is stone. But the guy was persecuted for saying the truth. I can assure you, you will be persecuted for saying the truth. You will. Leave alone these gospel matters. Even where you stay, you will be persecuted for saying what? The truth. You will. And you will be insulted for doing that. You will. Okay? Time will not allow to talk about the suffering servant of Isaiah, chapter 53, verse 1 to 11. And then there will also be dioko, physical assault. You'll be persecuted. That's the Greek word for persecuted. Physical assault. They will attack you, beat you up. You will. You will be beaten. Then evil accusations that are false. For just saying the truth, for righteousness' sake and for Christ's sake. So you will be persecuted at home. You will be persecuted in society. You will be persecuted at work for saying the truth. And let me just give you examples and then I wind up. Then you get to understand this blessing, how this blessing happens and how it materializes. You will be persecuted at home. And the image I have for that is Joseph. Do you remember Joseph? The brother to the 11 brothers? The youngest actually. He was persecuted by his brothers. Why? For two things only. One, saying the truth. Two, being visionary. Just that. Abantu basobola okugulako olutalo kubanga oyogera amazima. You try being a Joseph at work in someone's deal and see. You will even be killed. Because they almost killed Joseph. At home. At home. So you do not wait to be persecuted as a Christian. No. Some people are already being persecuted as family members. Abechika benyini nga bebakuyiganya. Wakolachi? Maybe you are a little bit richer than they are. Or you have what they don't have. And you're persecuted for that. You can't say anything. You were Joseph, and they are plotting against you. But if you are Joseph really, and you are doing the right thing and you are that visionary, you are blessed. We know how the story ends, isn't it? That's what we call Makarios. Do you see how Makarios materializes into Barak? Are we together? But Barak cannot.
Translate into Makarios.
It cannot. Makarios can translate into Barak eventually, because Joseph later on became great, even in Barak. Isn't it? But Barak cannot. Barak cannot and will not. So at home, many people are persecuted at home. Mumakaga mwe. You give people opportunity to tell you the stories in their homes and their families. You will see what is there. In society, how did Martin Luther King die?
Assassination.
He was assassinated. Why? Why would anyone kill Martin Luther? Why? Why would you persecute Martin Luther? Why were blacks in America being abused? What crime had they done?
Being black.
Being black. So society can persecute you like that. Yes, it can just persecute you just because you are black, or you are not you're not under our umbrella. We persecute you. We persecute you. Why was Mandela arrested for 25 years? Fighting for the freedom of the what?
The black.
Of the black man. Persecution. Was it wrong or right? Right. It was right. It was in principle, right. So some people are persecuted in their societies and communities. Just for doing the right thing, you're persecuted. You're persecuted.
So, if I may ask.
Yes.
So, is the righteousness in verse 11? No, in verse 10. Because previously there is another righteousness in the same.
It is in fact the same righteousness.
The other.
Yes, justice. Justice. Was Martin Luther after justice? Righteousness.
Doing the right thing while avoiding the wrong.
Exactly, because that's what he was telling his black people. Let us demonstrate, but do not attack the white man's homes like they attack ours. Malcolm X was telling him, no, they attack us, we attack them. That is what set apart Martin Luther and Malcolm. They assassinated Luther because he was more dangerous than Malcolm X. Yes.
How?
Irony.
Yes. Luther was more dangerous than Malcolm because Malcolm gives you a justification and sanitizes your wrongness. Luther does it. Luther makes sure that you are as wrong as you do, and that's how you look like. So he was more dangerous than Malcolm. This is what Jesus tells us. Love your enemies. Do to them good, those who do to you evil. Because he's trying to make us more dangerous than our enemies. You ask married men whether they are comfortable with a wife who knows they cheated and they are doing nothing about it. No. But look at the blessing on in fact I have said here before that Martin Luther, okay, is the modern prophet. If you're looking for, did the prophetic office end in the Old Testament? No. Martin Luther was a prophet, a real prophet. Forget about these ones that perform miracles. No, I'm not talking about these prophets of yours that I've heard in town. Prophet so and so, Prophet so and so ministries, prophet so and so. No. The prophet that I've seen in my time is Martin Luther. That guy was a complete prophet with all the characteristics of biblical prophets. Complete one. Not these ones who are smearing you with oil. No. And that's how blessed he was. He died a blessed man with the Macarios. Yeah. Persecuted. Okay? Persecution at work, finally. Why was Daniel thrown in the lion's den?
He stood his ground, refused to.
Saying that doing his work, advising the king, okay, in all truthfulness and giving him facts, not to buy favors with the king. And he was blocking these other advisors. They connived against him. So you'll be persecuted at work and you'll even be fired. Because you're blocking some deals. You'll be persecuted at work because you are doing your work the way it should be done. And your workmates want it to be done otherwise. If you insist, you'll be persecuted. And in fact, if you're doing the right thing at your workplace, by the way, be careful. Because people are not comfortable with you. So do not be careless with what you eat and what you drink at work. Because some people want your office to use it for their own selfish reasons. So they get rid of you if you're not careful. Daniel was thrown in the den of lions. It was God who saved him. And he was thrown there by the boss himself. Influenced by who? By the workers. So gwedda kumulimu osiniko jalaba. Ojalaba kye bajja okukola. So you are the one doing the right thing here. Mulimu gwa nnyoko. Because by you doing the right thing at your workplace, okay, you are indirectly demonstrating that your workmates are not doing the right thing. And when the boss comes, he will see what he wouldn't have seen if you are doing the same things that they were doing.
You actually want them
So
fired.
you are exposing them. You want them to be fired. They have to fight a survival war. And you are the casualty. So if you have an advisor like Daniel, do you need the other guys? This is what these guys are saying. Get rid of Daniel or else we die. This blessing must teach you wisdom. Tobera ku mulimu n'ogamba kiri okay. Mulimu ono buli omu yagira ku merita. Abamu baliwo lwa ddogo. You see, we all gave in our application. Did you look into those applications? Do you know how people got those jobs? Do you know that some people are on desks and others are working for them? Bamusindikira fayiro n'agisindikira omula n'agiyitamu n'agimuddiza wano n'agizaayo. Bwatyo bw'abaddewo emyaka 10. Kati gwotuuse wano ogamba kati buli omu akola assignment ye. Mukulu.
Mulimu gugwo.
Mukuru. They will knock you down. And it will be an accident. It will be an accident. You will get a quote. So blessed are those who are persecuted. So you are blessed if you understand persecution, how persecution works, what is running after you, and what you should be careful with. Persecution can start at home like Joseph. It could be your brothers. It could be your spouse. Bawa asobola okutuntuza mpaka n'akutuntuza n'akujja mu bulamu bw'ensi. Sajja akataasoma kwasiza omukazi alina kaaliya wa amaanyi kasobola omupersecutinga paka nakamuzizaayo mu ffumbi.
Alabako pharmacist baawe yagenda n'agula aba UNDS.
Yes.
National Drug Authority.
Baawe
nebajja bagiggalawo mumanyi.
Persecution can start at home. So stop saying I am okay, I am at home. Be careful, you can be persecuted at home. Blessed are you if you understand that persecution can even start at home. Who betrayed Jesus? One of his disciples, isn't it?
A disciple.
A disciple. A disciple can betray you. So can your teacher. So you just have to be what? To be careful. Okay, finally, let's read this verse and we close. 1 Peter 4. 4:11 to 19.
1 Peter 4. 11 to 19. Whoever speaks as one who utters oracles of God, whoever renders service as one who renders it by the strength which God supplies, in order that in everything God may be glorified through Jesus Christ.
Okay.
To him belong glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Beloved, do not be surprised at the fiery ordeal which comes upon you to prove you as though something strange were happening to you.
Those are problems.
But rejoice.
Rejoice.
Insofar as you share Christ's sufferings.
Okay. Suffering,
That
persecution.
you may also rejoice and be glad when his glory is revealed. If you are reproached for the name of Christ, you are blessed.
You are
because the Spirit of glory and of God rests upon you.
If you are reproached for what?
For the name of Christ.
The name of Christ, strictly and exclusive. You are what?
You're blessed.
You're blessed. To 19.
To 19. Okay. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, or a thief, or a wrongdoer, or a mischief maker.
Kati bw'oba kasimuko nga poliisi ekunoonya togamba nti bantu banjigganya. Peter's warned us, let none of you suffer as what? As a thief. Or a murderer. What omuntu bakunoonya?
Or a wrongdoer.
Or a wrongdoer.
Or a mischief maker.
Kiki ekikutawanya lugambo? Abantu bonna bakukyayirwa lugambo si bwe kiri? Katuka tebanjaga. My sister.
Bantuuza banjigganya.
Namumwago. It is your mouth. You are not persecuted.
Yet if one suffers as a Christian, let him not be ashamed.
Don't be ashamed to suffer if you are right.
But under that name,
if you are right, do not be ashamed to suffer. Tova ku kigambo kibeera ngumya mutwe bwe bakyogerako kituufu topowa tokyusa fiirwa buli kimu, lose everything and everyone and stay with what is right.
For the time,
do you say how Christianity is not easy? You suffer for what is right. This is why Mandela is in the prisons for 25 years. He had a deal on his table, didn't he? He said, no, I will stay here. I will stay here. The whites told Luther, stop saying what you are saying. It will cause you problems. Then he said, let problems come. This is what is right. Jesus said, I am going to die. Peter said, don't say that, you can't die. Then Jesus said, behind me, Satan, for I have to die. I'm not changing on this. Blessed are those who are persecuted for what is right.
For the time has come for judgment to begin with the household of God. And if it begins with us, what will be the end of those who do not obey the gospel of God?
Now the judgment is coming, and we know what judgment is about, don't we? What is judgment about? No, giving everyone what they deserve, isn't it? Yeah. Because for us we don't deserve anything. That's why we are believers. By grace through faith. So do not waver. Do not waver. And if you don't waver on what is right, blessed are you. May God bless you.
Amen.